Hi, I'm Jeff Hirsch. I'm here at the Traders Expo New York with Tom Sosnoff, the founder and co-CEO of Tastytrade. And Tom, you told me you're going to break down the futures for me. Break them down. What are you doing?
Well, I have a talk in about an hour, and it's a talk I like to do about just talking about some of the advantages of capital efficiency.
The futures versus the underlying.
Right. You know, we have this approach, Jeff, where we basically say that to be a successful investor, you have to be product indifferent, because all the products are essentially the same. Whether you buy an S&P, whether you trade 10 up.
You need that built-in shock-proof crap detector as well.
That's right. So everything is, essentially everything is, there's no difference between product A, B, or C nowadays. So then why would somebody choose product A versus B versus C? And the answer is because there's more efficiency, more capital efficiency in certain products. And people just don't understand that. So my discussion on futures is all about capital efficiency.
Can we give us an example about the capital efficiency
Sure.
in a certain product, like say QQQ or SPY or something
Sure.
like that? Yeah.
So one S&P E-mini future, and listen, I own a brokerage firm that doesn't care what you trade, okay?
Right.
But one S&P E-mini future requires about $6,000 in capital overnight to hold, and it's about $140,000 worth of notional value.
Right.
So for $140,000 of actual stock, you're putting up about $6,000 to hold that overnight. The perfect hedge, or the perfect equivalent to that, is 500 shares of Spiders. 500 shares of Spiders is $140,000. And 500 shares of Spiders, if you fully margin that, is about $70,000. So the comparison is one future versus 10 times that much money to hold the same overnight position, which, if you want to compare it to options, is equivalent to 10 SPY at the money option contracts.
So why are people generally afraid or reserved about going into the futures?
Because they're uninformed.
And
because they're unclear of the concept. That's it. Because we're undereducated, because the large small-time crooks we just talked about before.
Yes, they want you to be in the SPY because they make more money off it.
They not only make more money from loaning you the money for the margin, but they also don't understand the products themselves, and they're worried that if you take and start managing the money yourself and use the additional capital for other strategies and stuff, that they'll make less money on their annuitized portion of your returns, which means just how they, every dollar that a large financial conglomerate collects of your money, they basically, what we like to say, they annuitize it over the next 20, 30, 40 years.
We call it lifetime value.
That's right. There you go.
So just specifically with the futures product versus the equity product like the ETF, there's also efficiency with the spread in there as well. It's a tighter market that you have when you trade the future, from what I understand.
The actual spread between the bid-ask differential in the future and the bid-ask differential on a liquid stock is exactly the same. The commission costs are the same, and the actual bid-ask differential is the same. The difference is when and this is some of the stuff that I cover in my lecture, the difference is that the dividend risk is already embedded inside the future price, and the cost to carry is already embedded inside the future price. So what most people don't understand about futures is that when you put up $6,000 to carry that position overnight, the dividend's embedded in there, and the cost to carry is embedded in there, but the cost to carry is embedded. You're putting up $6,000, you're borrowing $134,000, but you're borrowing it at whatever the overnight rate is. So at 2.9% right now, as opposed to what the brokerage firm charges you of 7%. So it's a statistical, it's not an edge, but there's just an efficiency to doing it.
Excellent. Thank you, Tom. Go see him speak. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.